would I click this video? And if you say no, you need to go back and either change the title, change the thumbnail to make you want to click it. And then at that point, you have to basically hope that your content is good enough that people are going to want to watch it for a long time because YouTube cares about clicking videos and keeping you on the platform as long as possible. So if you can do that, you can be successful on YouTube.
Welcome to the Rex Bing Experience, the place to be if you love baseball. Here with us, we got Giraffe Neck Mark. Mark, how we doing?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. You're in New York, right?
Yep,
Live in
brand
New
new
York,
apartment.
brand new
just moved
apartment.
in.
Sick. Any big plans to be downtown in the big city?
I mean, next we got my birthday coming up in a few days, so we'll
Okay.
probably do something Friday night. So that'll
Oh
be like
yeah,
the first night out with the boys, and definitely looking forward to it.
sick. All right, well, for most of the people watching, they know who you are, Giraffe Neck Mark, YouTuber, everything extraordinaire. Tell the people who don't know about you who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah, so name's Giraffe Neck Mark, but I like to be called Mark, not Giraffe. Funny enough. I make videos about baseball on YouTube. Pretty active Twitter as well. Talk about baseball on there all the time. I'm a bit of a troll on Twitter, so if you don't like that kind of stuff, if you're a Yankees fan who's a little sensitive, I'm probably not your guy. But I just like to have fun. Like to share my opinions on baseball, tell about some news that's going on, and really just find other people that like baseball as well.
Absolutely, I love it. So, what got you into the baseball world, or were you just always a baseball fan, or start from the beginning with us?
Yeah, so I mean, my dad, huge baseball guy to begin with. So pretty much like since I can remember, baseball's always been a part of my life. So played it as a kid all throughout, my childhood, all the way through high school, and would have liked to play in college, but shoulder injury plus the options of where I could have played just really didn't interest me. So I decided that was probably the end of my playing career, and because I was such a big baseball fan and I need my own fix, of baseball. I did some coaching, and then I was like, I think I'm going to start to make YouTube videos about baseball. So playing
Absolutely.
MLB The Show. That was kind of the way to do it because no one was really talking about actual baseball on YouTube. The
Mm-hmm.
whole system was pretty tough, but kind of figured something out and was like, let's just talk about actual baseball. That's really what I like more. And the rest is history now. That's my job. It's what I do.
Absolutely, we love it. 130 plus thousand subscribers on YouTube. That journey started back in 2015. I looked up your first YouTube video, MLB 15, the show, how to get stubs easy and fast.
Yes.
For those guys who don't know, Mark and I, we've been friends for about a year now. We met last year in spring training, and he had talked about his hustling business he had actually in the FIFA industry.
Yes.
Is this MLB The Show 15 Get Stubs Easy and Fast related to that?
Mm,
Tell us a little
It's
bit about
actually
that business that you had going on, and if there's any relations to that.
Yeah, so funny enough, that video was made when I was like right in the like midst of, probably like one of the prime times for my business when it was going on. And it
Okay.
was just like kind of a way to do something different because I was pretty much every single day waking up at like 10 o'clock, working on my stuff, not going to class, and then like staying up till like 3 a.m., still working on the website. But long story short, I had a FIFA website that would recreate packs and Ultimate Team, and I'd give you the value of coins for the players that you'd get in your pack. So you'd pay me $20, and you would get a 100K pack, which is pretty much like the best pack in the game at the time.
Right.
And whatever players you get in there would give you a value. So if you got a million coins worth of players, you'd put up a card. I'd buy it for a million coins, and you'd get it through there. So it was a different way of buying coins. It was a little bit more of a risk where instead of paying, let's say $50 for a million, you could have paid 20 for a million, or you could
Right.
also pay $20 for 20,000.
Right.
So
And that was a good way for you to make money, just because of the RNG in that, and it was completely
yes.
random with you on your site. Is that correct?
Well, it wasn't completely random. I mean,
Uh huh.
I created the odds and everything, but
Okay.
at the end of the day, you were still given a better chance to make back more than what you were supposed to get.
Right.
And I was able to do that because obviously I was buying in bulk, and when you
Of
buy in
course.
bulk from these Chinese websites for coins, I
Yeah.
got them super cheap, so I could afford to technically lose, but I really wasn't losing.
Absolutely. That's really cool. So same thing with MLB The Show. Were you doing a similar thing, a similar process with that back in 15, or what is this YouTube video about?
So actually, the way that I justified buying MLB The Show was that I had a PlayStation because I needed it for my business, and I was like, I'm gonna just buy MLB The Show. It looks like a fun game to begin with, and maybe I can do my business with it. But the way that the game was set up, it just never would have made sense, and the
Hmm.
community was too small where my time and effort put towards that wouldn't be, lucrative enough for me. So it never ended up doing anything with MLB The Show. Thought about maybe doing some Madden stuff. Tried actually making a CS:GO website. That didn't end up working out as I
Nothing.
planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I made that website for CS:GO, that was, I don't know if you remember, but right around the time where the whole, like, gambling CS:GO stuff came out.
Hmm.
So it was really bad timing because pretty much everybody that I was talking with that was interested in doing sponsorships was out because all that news broke and they didn't want to be a part of it. So that was tough, but, you win some, you lose some.
Absolutely, absolutely. We talked a lot about YouTube. My next question for you: if you weren't a YouTuber, what would you do with your life? What would you be doing right now as for work?
That's an interesting question. So I went to school originally, like under the business degree, the same old boring stuff, but my grades were pretty horrible. So I actually got kicked out of the business school and I needed to find a new major. So for like a year, I was majorless and I was taking like two classes in an entire year. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I thought about stuff that I like to do. I'm a pretty creative person and I like working with people. And it ended up being that advertising was kind of like the perfect major for me. So went into that, and I mean, technically, I could go get a job right now in advertising, working for some agency or a firm, but um, YouTube much better. But if I had to,
Absolutely.
probably going to be in advertising.
I got you. I got you. All right. Next question I got for you. Jabari Blash. You
Of
seem to
course.
have this weird obsession with him. I personally don't even know anything about it, and I'm sure nobody really, anybody who doesn't watch your videos has any idea what that is about. Tell us a little bit about the roots of that, where that started, and everything leading up to it.
Yeah, so the Legend of Jabari Blash, it's a bit of a meme on my channel, but it's definitely a good story. So back in MLB 16, maybe MLB 15 or 16, it's so long ago that I don't even really remember. But Cougs, before he was really Cougs, when he was a tiny little channel at the time,
Mm-hmm.
reached out to me when I was one of the bigger MLB The Show creators and was like, "Hey, I'd like to do a video with you. What do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, give me an idea and I'll do it. What does it matter? I don't care." So he came out to me and was like, "All right, let's do an all bronze team against each other, or all common, I think it was
Right.
common." And so we matched up and we ended up both having Jabari Blash on our team. And in that game, he just went off for both of us. Like he was making diving plays and hitting home runs. And we were like, oh my God, this guy Jabari Blash, he's crazy. And then the next game, I took it to the next level and just continued on with like using him in all my teams. And every time he was available in BR, I'm picking Jabari Blash and he's starting. And he just continued to just be amazing despite having terrible card stats and not having great stats in real life. But yeah, so the meme lived on, and then he eventually got traded to the Yankees, which of course, as a well-known
Yes.
Yankee hater, that was the video that was probably where a lot of people found me was the Jabari Blash Yankee video and Giancarlo Stanton Yankee video within
Oh
like weeks.
gosh.
So I made that video about him getting traded to the Yankees, and I was like, the one guy. I was like, why do they even want him? I don't understand. It doesn't
Right.
make
Right.
sense. And they took the one guy that I root for. Come on now. So that was like a funny video, and that's actually how he ended up finding out about my channel because I was never like hitting him up or anything like, "Yo, like check out my videos, I gas you up," any of that. But his younger brother found the video, sent it to him, and he reached out to me. He's like, "Yo, this shit's hilarious. Like, I love it. Like, let's talk." Blah blah blah. And we became friends through there, and
Nice.
yeah, got to meet him. Really awesome dude.
Really, that's awesome. Yeah, it's good to see that big leaguers who aren't douchers, and
Yeah.
who
Oh,
are personable with people, can talk with people, and that's something that's really valuable in this industry for sure, especially
he
as a
was like,
YouTuber.
yeah, well, like when I went and met him, so I went to Chicago and went to a White Sox game because the Angels were playing them, and I was like, I'm just getting this video done. I don't care.
Hmm.
It needs to happen. So I'm messaging him or whatever, and I'm like, hey, all right, I'm at the stadium. Tell me what I need to do. Gave me the details. I'm telling the people at the front desk, like, here's my name. I'm getting tickets and stuff from Jabari Blash, and they're like, we don't have it here. I'm like, oh my god, am I being catfished? What's going on?
That's
But it ended up
hilarious.
all working out, and he took us out to dinner, which was crazy, and just sat and talked for like 3
Oh, that's
hours. And
awesome.
super down to earth guy. He's the man.
Sick, sick. All right. Next up for you, we've got your editing and thumbnail process. I want to talk a little bit about this. You do some simple cuts.
Yep.
Everything is basic MLB clips. Talk to us about kind of the process you go through when you're recording a video, your thoughts. Do you record your face cam first and then the video, or do you do video first and then face cam? How long does an editing process take? Kind of the whole rundown, if you, as much as you can share. I know it's kind of private, but
Yeah, I won't give away any trade secrets,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I can give you the process. So, I mean, I have like a list of like a Google Doc of 100 video ideas, and I think I'm at like 70 something right now. So
Hmm.
if there's nothing like topical or news related, I usually just go to that and go, all right, let's rock with this one today.
Right.
So the idea is always what comes first, and then I just pretty much sit down and record. I don't really do too much like note taking. I do absolutely no script writing. Everything's off the top of my head.
Hmm.
And I sit there for about 30, 40 minutes sometimes just talking. And I know that I do jump cuts, and I know that I do, like you said, like just very simple basic things. So the way that I'm recording, I don't expect to just go on like 10-minute tangents, nonstop talking, not making mistakes. Like there's a reason I record for 30 minutes and it gets cut down to 11.
Right.
There's a lot of times where I screw up the words or I end up cutting out stuff that I want to say. Um, but from the editing standpoint, yeah, super simple. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. I wish I was better at editing than I was, because I think that would definitely like take stuff to the next level. But also, I don't need to yet, so that's not a good reason not to do it. But also, it works, so I'm not
Right.
changing
Right.
anything.
Absolutely. It's working. You don't want to, it's not broke, don't fix it. That's what I always say.
Yeah,
And
big
it's
fan of that.
a big thing in the swing too. Like there's
Yep.
some things I've been working on right now in my swing is, my inside elbow, my outside elbow actually stays inside, and
Yeah.
it's getting me around the ball, but I hit bombs. So if it ain't
There
broke,
you
don't
go. Yeah,
fix it.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, think about like some of the guys that made it to the major leagues. I know like one guy, just because I was a Mets fan, Ike Davis. He's always someone I remember.
Hmm.
And he had a huge, massive hitch in his swing, but it worked for him for the longest time. And then it stopped working, and he didn't want to change it. Where he go, well, maybe now it's time to change
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It's hilarious. Um, Other than that, man, plans for your birthday. I know that's coming up. You mentioned you were doing some stuff with the boys. Big night on the town. You got any place where people can meet you up at or anything like that?
I know we're going like Wednesday night. So Wednesday's my actual birthday. So we went to go look for couches yesterday, and we walked by like a sports bar, and it was like 50-cent wings Wednesday night. I'm like, that's where we're going for my
That's
birthday. Let's
sick.
do it.
Sick. Yeah,
50
that's
cent wings, get like 10 of them, get a beer,
oh,
probably
that's
cost like $10.
perfect.
So
Absolutely
that's the
perfect.
spot. Friday, the area that we're in is technically not Manhattan, but it's still
Okay.
New York City. I like in Queens. So
Yeah.
we'll just like walk around the neighborhood. There's a bunch of bars and stuff around here. So see what's
Sick.
going on, have a good time, and it'll be enjoyable for sure.
Sick. Sick. That's awesome. Your thumbnails. How long does it take to
Yes.
make a thumbnail? How long does it take to make a thumbnail for you? What's your thought process when you're doing that? Tell us a little bit about your art of the clickbait. Of course,
Yes.
no trade secrets, nothing like that. But the art of the clickbait is big on YouTube. Want
Of
to hear your
course.
2 cents on it?
Yeah, so I'll give you the breakdown on like thumbnails and titles too, because they all kind of intertwine with each other. So
Hmm.
for me, it really clicked in April. That's when like my channel blew up. I went from 40,000, and now I'm at where I'm at. So in a
Hmm.
year, I've gained quite a few subs. So I had one video blow up, and I knew it was going to blow up based on what other people have done. It was a similar thing, and I was like, okay, it's just a matter of time. But actually, on the drive home, I was in Atlanta going to a Mets Braves game. So I was driving back to South Carolina, and I was listening to Mr. Beast on the H3 podcast, and he said something that like clicked with me, and it was like ever since then YouTube, I don't want to say has been easy, but it makes sense. Where before I was like, why aren't I getting this? Why isn't this happening?
Right.
He said that there's three things. Everyone talks about the algorithm. Can I curse on here?
Yes, absolutely.
Fuck the algorithm. The algorithm's not important. It can help for certain things, but honestly, you can really be in control most of the time.
Yeah.
So there's basically like the main staples. You need to make a good video from the start. Like it can't just be trash. You need to have decent quality. The camera needs to be clear. Your mic or your sound needs to be good. No one wants to hear wind, all that kind of stuff. That's
Hmm.
basic. But even then, my setup has been pretty normal from the most part. Like it's a wall. I put up little pictures next to me. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other part is the title and the thumbnail. And you need to make it something that people want to click and are going to want to watch for a long time. And
Hmm.
like just him saying that made the most sense to me, where I was like, if you took a step back and you said, okay, obviously you made the video, you think it's going to be good. But if you took a step back and said, if this was, Joe Schmo attached to it, would I click this video? And if you say no, you need to go back and either change the title, change the thumbnail to make you want to click it. And then at that point, you have to basically hope that your content is good enough that people are going to want to watch it for a long time, because YouTube cares about clicking videos and keeping you on the platform as long as possible. So if you can do that, you can be successful on YouTube.
Absolutely.
So
I'm
yeah, I mean,
looking
like,
kind of about 9 months ago, kind of where you're talking about you blew up
yeah,
back in April, spring training, all that. I've got a video here. You say you're meeting Los Angeles Angels players on the field. You got a
yes,
little Angels logo, Mike Trout in there, you on the field, 7.6 thousand views.
yeah,
Looks like 3 videos later, best MLB player from each jersey number, something
that's the
so
one.
unique, 597,000 views. Talk to us about the difference between those two styles of videos, because obviously you're still flirting with the vlog style video or the sit down video and analyzing players and teams and logos and all that stuff. Like,
Mhm.
is this something, when you saw that video blow up, was that like, all right, I need to do something right then and there with that? Or did you
Yes.
still try and move towards the vlog stuff, spring training, all that?
Yeah, so I once I saw that, I was like, okay, this is clearly the route that I need to take if I want to, go to the next level. The vlogs and stuff are always cool,
Hmm.
but that's not what I'm good at. That's still what I'm learning about how to do, like how to film things and film
Hmm.
my day and interviewing players. You got to make it interesting, and sometimes that stuff can be boring. And watching through a lot of my interviews, I go, this was an awesome experience for me, but I don't think it gives off the vibe that I want to the viewer. It's probably just like it's just talking to some MLB player.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like you got to think too, if you are watching, like, let's say I did stuff with Whit Merrifield, right? Whit Merrifield's a great player for the Royals. He's an all-star, super underrated, one of my favorite players in the game. But for the majority of the United States and baseball fans, they couldn't care less what he has to say or what he's going to talk about. He's just another player who plays for the Royals. Where these, like, talking about every team in a video or talking about a bunch of different players, it brings in a bigger audience, so it allows for more people to see it. Where, like, the barrier to watching the Royals with Whit Merrifield is if you don't care about Whit Merrifield or the Royals, you're not going to click it. It doesn't matter to the
Right.
viewers.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I watched that video. I'm a Royals fan. I grew up in Kansas City, and
Yeah,
I found it super interesting because of my demographic of what I'm trying to do. Like, I
yeah,
like to look at big leaguers, how they act, what they talk about, stuff like that, in order to emulate that and potentially be a big leaguer for myself one day. But not everybody is in my shoes, where I happen to be from Kansas City. I
yeah,
happen to be a professional baseball player. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And that's
I
like,
totally get that for sure.
and that was like the big thing that, because obviously I'm going to do a spring training trip again this year, and I'll be seeing you in Arizona. Don't worry. But
Absolutely.
like I've decided the different way I want to go about talking to players, where it's not necessarily just going to be one video for each player. I'm going to have like a common theme. So like how I was doing like the Family Feud stuff last year, which
Right.
didn't even come out ever.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to do that again and just make it like a whole like MLB players play Family Feud type thing, where
Right.
that's a much more enticing video for someone to click than just like, hey, I'm talking to Whit Merrifield, or hey, I'm talking to uh, if it was Mike Trout, everyone would care, but I don't get Mike
Absolutely.
Trout access yet.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it seems like a lot of your quiz videos and like certain opinion videos, like the like best MLB player from every state. I see best MLB player from every team. Like those are blowing up because they want to see
Yeah.
your opinion.
Yep.
Do
And you got to think like everybody has a team, right? So they're like, who's the best player for my team?
right, right, and then they can go in the
It doesn't matter
comments
if you're a
and
Tigers fan or.
you don't even care if they flame you because it's a
Nope.
comment and that's part of the algorithm, correct?
And that's interaction's always good.
Uh
I
huh.
don't really know what's a part of the algorithm. It sounds like so stupid, but I really don't care about the algorithm.
Yeah.
The thing for me has always been like I notice I do best when I get in the groove of like uploading consistently. So
Yep.
that's really the only thing I care about. But otherwise, I know like if I make the kind of content and make the title and thumbnail as good as I can, then YouTube's gonna favor it. That's what it
Right.
comes down to at the end of the
Absolutely. Yeah. And for
day.
somebody like you, where you're the only person in your field that's doing opinionated baseball videos, Major League Baseball videos,
Mhm.
you're basically like a Colin Cowherd of YouTube.
Yeah.
Is this, I see on Twitter, you mentioned you're a troll on Twitter. Nobody really likes Colin Cowherd. I'm sure a lot of people don't really like you. What do you think about that? Do you care at all, or do you just look at the check from YouTube every year or every week and say, oh, I'm good. I don't really care about them.
I obviously want more people to like me than dislike me. I
Yeah.
think, that would be like that would be a psychopathic thing for me to say. Be
Right.
like, "Ah, I want more people to hate me." Like, that's crazy. But my feeling has always been whether you like me or you hate me, all I care about is that you know who I am. So if I have a ton of Yankee fans who despise me, but you know
Right.
what? They live and hang on every single word that I say, regardless of what it is. And that's all I'm trying to do is just have you care about what I say
Hmm.
and who know who I am. So yeah, you know my name, you tell other people about me. That's the name of the game, which is part of the reason why I love messing with Yankee fans is because they haven't figured it out yet. Even in the videos where I say, "Hey, this is, my classic the Yankees lose videos I do every year."
Yes.
At the beginning of it, most of the time I go, "Hey, you guys wanna get me mad? Don't watch this video. Don't tell your friends. Don't leave a comment." That's the easiest way to piss me off and be like, "Oh, he'll stop doing these if they don't get views." But no, you keep clicking them and you keep getting
Yes.
mad. You're feeding into what I want. It's very simple, but, at the end of the day, they still do what I want, so it's working.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if, like you said, that works, and
Yeah.
like debating people is people always hate on it and flame it, but it gets views and it gets comments and it gets
Yeah,
interaction, and there's
and, like
nothing. At the end of the day, at an opinion based channel like yours,
yeah.
that's the goal: is to spark up conversation, get
Oh,
people
yeah.
talking, and get views from that for sure.
And, like, I wouldn't call myself, like, a hot take machine, like, I'm not just out there, like, saying, like, outlandish things, but I definitely stir the pot. That's, like, the way I like to think of it is, like, I'm
Right.
not coming out here and saying, like, "Oh," like, yesterday, man, there were some crazy takes about who's, like, better shortstops than other guys, and then I'm not gonna be like, "Yeah, Ahmed Rosario is a top 5 shortstop in baseball." It's just not true.
Yeah.
I love him on the Mets, but I'm not gonna say that. But I will say, maybe Gleyber Torres is a little lower than I actually think he is, just to get the Yankee fans a little riled up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. That's good stuff, man. I think that's gonna do it for us. I
all right,
really appreciate you coming on
of
and
course.
hanging out. You got anything else to say to any young YouTubers or anything like that coming up? It'll be the show, content creators, anything like that.
Yeah, my tip would be, if you're gonna do MLB The Show content, make it unique. Work on your titles and thumbnails. The biggest thing that I've seen that separates the guys who are doing really well right now on MLB The Show and YouTube and the guys who are still, getting like 20 views or so is the titles are horrible. The thumbnails are atrocious. Spend a couple hours on YouTube learning tutorials on how to use Photoshop. It will pay off massively. If you notice all the guys at the top, not just MLB The Show, but everything YouTube wise, thumbnails and titles are all good. If yours don't look like theirs, there's something wrong. That's my biggest thing.
Good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate it, and we'll be seeing you in spring training for sure.
Yeah, man. I'll be seeing you soon.
All right, brother. Appreciate it.